Hello! Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome, Poi Cavalier. Hello. That's how it was going. Sorry, my day's been a little weird, so I am trying to center again, and it is proving difficult. Hello. Wow, look, it's an elf. It's an elf. Wow, elf on a shelf. Who'd have guessed? It's a shelf on an elf. Watched all the maiden scenes in Unicorn Overlord and finally settled with Sharon, so our tastes aren't too different at the end of the day. What, Sharon? I don't know if I wanted to romance Sharon. But she's not boring. Sharon's not boring. Well, that's good. I also wanted to watch like more of the maiden scenes. But I really liked Oaklease's scene. It was very good. Counted the results of some tests, and I only had to click a clicker 11.5k times, much less than expected, and went faster than expected. Nice! And now, hopefully you're done clicking clickers. Right? That means you don't have to click the clickers anymore, right? Right, guys? Right? The joke was Sharon is girl Oaklease-like, so we can't be that different. I mean, they're certainly... I feel like they're a little different. Well, maybe if we watch Sharon's marriage scene. I say marriage, maiden scene. Sharon seems a lot more like the my doors are always open, naive cleric girl. A man can only dream, but yeah, I'm actually done 99% sure. Well, hopefully, because then you don't have to click a clicker. No longer maidenless cutscene, you mean? Yes, the no longer maidenless. No maidens. Man, did anyone else watch the, random question, did anyone else watch the Blue Archive opening? Because did you know that Blue Archive is getting an anime? And did you know that the opening goes fucking hard? I was like, man, gacha games need to stop being, like, need to stop having so much money so that they're able to produce such banger anime OPs. I sent to my friend, I was like, hey, bassist and violin, yo, what do you want us to do for the chorus? Then just pop off, King. It was very pleasant. I did know that, and I didn't watch it because I have no plans of watching a gacha game anime. That's fair. The only important thing to me is that there are cute angels, and that's cool. They have guns. Yeah. Also, I don't know. Really like the OP. You always like a good healer. Think about it, Flower. Your performance will only increase if she can heal you. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be in the... It would probably be in the cleric magic to have, like, actual... God, what are they called? I was gonna say performance-enhancing drugs, but, like, specifically in context to... Yeah, refresh. Aha. Yup. If they just keep healing you with the refresh, then you can just keep going, right? Did you know that Design the Spire is supposed to be our non-degenerate stream? Wow, who would have guessed? It's fine. I'm only joking, kind of, slightly. Welcome, Cesar. But yeah, today we're playing Frieren. Wow, that's crazy. There are non-degenerate streams on this channel. I mean, sometimes. Sometimes we certainly try. We certainly try sometimes to not be too down bad all the time. Certainly. Yeah, I'm gonna remember to do the intro this time, because last time I didn't remember. And I think the time before that I didn't remember. But this is Design the Spire. Wow, welcome to Design the Spire, where we look at the design of Slay the Spire mods and see how all their pieces fit together. How do their cards work? What are their main mechanics? How do they all fit together? And how does all that stuff work? It's very fun. Now, I was a little concerned about doing this one because I was concerned that Frieren is a popular anime character. And the unfortunate curse of this character isn't insanely OP, it's bad because it's not faithful to the source material, clearly. Yeah, there's always a concern when you're playing an anime girl mod that they're going to be the most broken piece of shit ever. Because that just, be how it do. I don't make the laws of the universe, but it tends to be the case that when you are playing an anime girl mod, that they are abhorrently overpowered. As seen by our Rosemontes mod, that we didn't actually end up winning because we realized that there was no way to generate block on the character, so that was interesting. But nonetheless, they were still quite powerful. And I actually wanted to play this 2 weeks ago. I wanted to play Frieren 2 weeks ago when we played Rosemontes, because I was like, oh, always bet on the anime girl in Mugen? Yes, exactly. Exactly, you always bet on the anime girl. Because they're just going to be broken. But I wanted to play this 2 weeks ago, and then I was a little uncertain because I think I wanted to, do some more paperwork and stuff before I started working, or before I started, I was gonna say working on this mod, but I didn't work on this mod. I was thinking, maybe we would have the heuristic stream before I stream this one, and then I realized that, I was gonna do the April Fool's joke, and then, it just kind of... Instead, now we're just playing Frieren anyways. The reason why I want to play this one, you'll see pretty soon. I think they had a tutorial text, which, I don't know if we're gonna get because we already played this before. I could probably try changing accounts and seeing if that works. Or changing player profiles. But the short of it is that, this relic gives you mana, and then there's 3 things that you can do with mana, and then that affects all the stuff you can do, which I thought was very interesting. I believe the cards are all hidden, so I couldn't check it that way, but I thought that as a base mechanic, the degree of manipulation you could do with mana is very interesting. So we'll see how it actually plays out. I don't know. I think the only other thing that I wanted to mention about the starting relic is that, it's probably impossible to relic swap this. So there is sort of that, I wonder how much of this could just be baked into the character instead of making it a relic. But that's a pretty easy one to overlook and just go, or to look past and be well, this is how they implemented it into the gameplay. However, there's always the note that we make how the starter relic usually isn't integral to actually playing the character. Usually it's some kind of boon or benefit, but not, extremely integral. In which, this case... alright, Frieren has a voice. In this case, it seemed like mana was very integral to the character, and this is the main generator for it, so... Who was the lucky one? It was Berengaria, also known as Bulgaria. And then after we beat the game, I made a new save file where I married Oakley's, and that's the one we're going to be playing in New Game Plus. Because I can. Also, okay, honestly, Frieren's strong, but as you've seen with Sari, she's not honestly too OP. Heck, all the elves we've seen are probably stronger than her. Yeah, I think that was sort of the context in the anime. If the what if the non-anime girl is Ronald McDonald? Huh? While it can definitely be done, the track record for new whole systems on design, the Spire, hasn't been great so far. Yeah, I mean, like, implementing it at a character level. The thing is, it's like... The thing that I was trying to point out was, at the start of your turn, shuffle 3 mana into your draw pile, maybe could have just been baked into the character, and then the relic could have just been, like, get 1 mana in your hand, like, either for the first 2 turns, for the first turn, or whatever, where it's like, shuffling 3 mana every turn seems to actually be quite important, whereas like getting an additional mana at the start of combat or for the first 2 turns is less integral and more of like a boon to the character. So it's hard to find gems who handled it well, like Decade. Oh yeah, like new systems and stuff. Of course. Who is the lucky girl in Unicorn Overlord? I told you. I said it was Berengaria. And then I said that I saved over my save file in the clear file. Like the clear file, I made a new save, and that's the one we're going to be using for New Game Plus, where I've married Oakley's. Very important. It's 5-star for a reason. What, Decade? Amazing. Shuffling 3 cards into your draw pile every turn sounds like a massive hit to your draw power. Yeah, so we're just gonna get into it. I was somewhat impressed by this thing, and we will talk about it. I have not played a full run. I have not looked at each of the cards individually, but I thought that this idea was already... It was quite interesting to me, so... We will figure out. We will find out. Let's transform a card. Oh yeah, base deck. So there is Flow, which is put 3 mana from your draw pile into your discard pile. Chant. So everything with Chant uses mana in some way. I don't know if I can fully... I don't remember if I fully understood how this worked. But it was like, you can choose to manipulate mana from each different part of, like, wherever the mana is. Much taller than Elizabeth, I can already see. Why so tall? I mean, the funny thing is that apparently Frieren is like 5'3" or something, which means that she is canonically 2 inches taller than me. Welcome, Kraos. But yeah. Who's is clearly a very average highest height, I'm assuming you meant. But yeah, so this is like it's a little weird to me that these are both defensive magic. But yeah, it's like use a mana, gain 3 block, and then it's like use a mana, gain 3 block is what it does up front, so this is effectively 6 block. But those options don't seem very balanced. Yeah, so exhaust X from your draw pile, gain X block twice. Exhaust X mana from your hand, gain X energy. Exhaust X mana from your discard pile, gain X strength. Yeah, so I think the thing that I noted... the thing that I noted about this was that exhausting mana from your draw pile is like let's say you shuffle 3. First of all, it can only chant 1 ever. So this is like 4 block, then 4 block. Yeah. It's 4 block, if you exhaust from the draw pile, or 5, sorry. So this is 1 mana, 2 skills, block for 10, and exhaust 2 mana. Or it's exhaust mana in your hand to Lotus Petal, which is kind of cool because then it goes even on your first cast, and then if you do it again, you go +1 mana, so you can be at 4 at the cost of exhausting 2 things in your hand. So it's like using 2 in your hand, you would be at 3 cards. This is one of them, so you'd have 2 cards left. It said choose, so I didn't read it fully and thought they were all from draw pile. Yeah, it's honestly a little hard to read, like a little hard to understand when I was reading it the first time. And then there's exhaust from your discard pile to gain strength, which makes sense with flow. I guess the idea would be that you would shuffle mana, play flow to put them in your discard pile, and then you could defensive magic to gain strength. Yeah. Or you needed to have drawn mana and then discarded it, which is kind of cool. And then there is Rapid Chant, which is just chant 3. So either you gain 6 block, you get 3 energy, or you get 3 strength. So this is the thing. So I haven't played this. I have no idea if this is balanced, but kind of when I saw these 3 cards, like this all nodded to me that it was like designed at a system level, where it's like you have ways. Yeah, it is a very cool mana symbol. It's like the staff thing. So I thought this was very cool that it's like there are 3 options, which means that inherently, because there are 3 options, that is the main mechanic. The main mechanic is like, how do you manipulate mana as a resource in order to achieve different effects? And we're going to give you different ways to do that. You know, so it's like, do you even cast flow? Like, is that a good idea? I also wanted to note that if the turnover rate of this deck, because there's 11 cards, which is maybe a little suspicious, but let's assume that the turnover rate of this deck is 2. That means that you would have shuffled 6 mana into your deck, which I know what mana does, you don't know what mana does yet, but for example, you do that, you could then argue that putting 3 mana into your discard pile with flow, like, makes sure that your deck size doesn't change. Yeah. Sorry, I'm back. Who is the lucky girl? What? Jesus. Cesar. I can't repeat myself 3 times on a stream that is, like, not related to the thing that you're talking about. I gave Bulgaria the Ring of the Maiden. I'm gonna pin it. Okay. Get ready for Flar to call energy mana 10,000 times despite them literally being separate mechanics in the mod. Yes. All the artifacts better be mimics or the mod failed us. Oh my god, wait, I can't wait to open a chest and then have it be Frieren trapped in a chest. That's gonna be so funny. I'm surprised you think that's unexpected. I think Bulgaria seemed like the most pragmatic, you know? And, like, mature, I suppose. So... I mean, we already finished the game, Cesar, so, like, I don't know what you want, right? I would gladly take a donation, but I don't know what you're expecting the effect to be. Because we basically only have the post-game to do for Unicorn Overlord, and, you know, I don't know what you're expecting. And that's all I can really answer for that. Because, yeah, so I thought this was very interesting. Basically, if there was any concern that mana was going to clog your deck, you could say that this card is meant to keep the turnover rate intact, because if it's, you know, if it's 2 turns per turnover rate and then you have like chant 3, or you have, you know, chant total 5, right? That would use up 5 of the 6 that you're gonna get, and a turnover rate of 2, there'd be 1 mana left, and then you could like discard it, or you could have discarded the mana from your deck first, and then it's gonna be very interesting once you see what mana does. So, select a card to transform. Well, that's transform and defend, because we already appear to have defense in the thing. Spell that breaks barriers. Analyze 3, Synchro 4. Jesus fucking Christ. Synchro 4 mana. Yeah, okay. So this shows us what the thing is. Synchro is draw 1 card exhaust, which means that all manas have draw 1 card exhaust. Yeah, analyze 3. Retain and unplayable. If you complete the request... What is the request? Then X -1 and get the reward and update the request. What is the request? Reward 20 block, progress 0 to 4. Analyze 3. This card exhausts when X is equal to 0. I do not know what this does. Oh, the request is to synchro 4 mana. Oh, cool. Well, why does it say analyze? Oh, so every time you synchronize, every time you synchro 4 mana, this goes down by 1. So when analyze becomes 0, you get 20 block. That's very bizarre. This is a bizarre card. Flower, you might need to play the Fire Emblem like games. Viewers might not be great, but you make decent money with the people using their money for their waifus. Infinite money glitch. Yeah, I was gonna say on the topic of Unicorn Overlord that the, you know, I think pretty obviously the views were not super high for that series, but the retention was very high. And also people seemed to be enjoying themselves, so I was happy to do it. It's a 0 cost draw card, spooky, scary, infinites abound. It's not, because they exhaust. So remember when I said mana was really cool? Do you know what's really cool about mana? Is that you can't put it into your discard pile to gain strength from chanting by playing them. So you need to find a different way to discard them so that you can chant for strength, which is why the bottom option is probably the strongest. So if you can facilitate drawing mana then discarding it, or discarding it via flow, then that's how you set up getting strength. Whereas if it's in your hand, the opportunity cost of not playing it is you could have just drawn another card. What type of cards are manas? They are a mana card, or a magic card. They are not typed to skill, so it is literally free. This is good design. It's actually very interesting to me that, because like you look at this and go like, oh, 3 mana into your draw pile, and then you go like, oh, but the 3 mana is free, and then like you just draw a card when you play it. Like, you know what I mean? But it's interesting because like shuffling the mana does not change your draw size unless you choose for it to be the thing, right? So it's like there's just like so much opportunity cost baked into how this works. It's like very interesting. The Time Eater in question. Yeah, I mean, certainly Time Eater would probably hurt and also hard for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's a downside, I suppose. They don't have Ethereal, so it takes some card disadvantage, but it does the job. Yeah, to like discard them, because otherwise you just play them for free and draw a card. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But yeah, the opportunity cost is not in the fact that you could play every mana. Like, it's so interesting because it is a 0 cost card that lets you draw a card, because you would go like, oh, well then you just play a mana every time. Like, that's obviously how you, like, why wouldn't you just play mana so that you use it and then draw a different card. It's like, well, because you need to evaluate whether you want to leave mana in your hand for chanting, like for energy, or if you want to discard it, right? Which is very cool. I didn't get to play around with it that much because I was just vetting it. Like, I didn't actually, like, play the character. But already, like, this is fascinating to me. Like, this just seems very, very, very interesting and could, like, do a lot of things. So I wanted to look into it. I was very scared that it's like, oh, this is an anime girl mod, so it's going to be bad, because historically that appears to be the case. But it had a good premise, so I wanted to check it out. So you have a new card type. I have hopes that they hard-coded it to not trigger effects of any kind. Who knows? Oh yeah, it also tells us, like, you know, where the mana is. I would almost hope, or I wish, that this icon, like, indicated the zones better, because it's like, okay, sure, up is draw pile, middle is hand, and down is discard. Like, I can read that. But the actual diagram itself doesn't help me understand that. Right? So it's like, if these were linked to icons, I think that would be better. Or even if it, like, maybe if it mimicked, like, what it's supposed to be representative of. But again, like, discard pile is like a graveyard or a gravestone. Then there's like hand, an icon for hand, and then an icon for deck. I think that would be more useful than having this diagram, which doesn't actually, like, necessarily tell me anything. I would just slap them as a blue number on the draw and discard pile icons. I would argue that there might be something to be said about, like, needing to look in many places for the information, right? So having it all in one place to find out where your mana is, I think is probably correct. So instead of being like, okay, I'm going to check my deck, okay, I'm going to check my discard, okay, I'm going to check my hand, or, like, if there was, like, an icon for where the hand is, I think having it in one place is correct. But I think having helper icons for what these are each supposed to be would probably also help. Could use the icons on the cards for draw pile and discard pile for the icon. Could use the icon on the cards for draw pile. Yeah, I guess, like, yeah, you could literally use these as, like, what they would be there. I was gonna say that perhaps also, like, the obelisk looking thing, yeah, exactly. Like, use this symbol as, like, it is in the draw pile. There's something to be said about keeping the UI cleaner and more condensed too, though. I don't know if, like, ultimately, what is the goal of UI and UX, right? The purpose of UI and UX is to communicate information, right? So what is the purpose of keeping a UI clean, right? The purpose is so that the information is easy to find or is easy to understand. But ultimately, the thing that you care about is the understandability of the UI. So I don't think the solution of putting it over the discard pile or the draw pile is inherently better than having a dedicated UI element, because the ultimate goal is understandability, right? So I think that this is not understandable enough and could likely have different solutions, whether that's over the draw pile, over the discard pile. It's my intuition that says that having numbers in different places which communicate the same information is not as useful as putting all the numbers in the same place. Particularly, there's a principle called grouping. It is literally called grouping, where numbers that are put in the same place are often used to communicate the same information. So for example, energy is always in the top left, so we can assume that they communicate the same information. which you could say that since all of these numbers are grouped, that is also useful. But again, I feel like this needs some kind of icon to delineate between them at a glance instead of needing to hover over and remember what the shorthands are for where it is on the thing. Okay, so we have 3 energy in our deck, which means that we can exhaust it to gain block. We don't need to exhaust to gain block, so we won't be doing that. And all of these are defense cards, so we are just going to do nothing. We don't need to use the mana in our hand. We can play this turn without playing the mana, so we can discard it to get strength off of chanting, which we won't see until we reshuffle, because I think there aren't any more chants. And we're going to draw a bunch of mana and flow next turn, which is really cool, because we can do the thing that I was thinking about, which is like... So we have a bunch of mana in this hand, right? But we're going to discard 3 of them so that we can... Oh! So that we can draw through this, is what I was going to do. So that I can reshuffle, but that also means that the mana is no longer in my discard pile. So I guess if I wanted to draw first, I think we're going to have to play all of this. Yeah. Oh, wait, I had a bunch of block. I don't actually know what I had the block from. Reward 1 Frieren mod legendary magic, play 0, cost this turn. Alright, well, I think that this card I think this card doesn't work. We got 20 block, but I didn't see when we actually got it. That's so funny. We'll have to watch that one. But yes, so now what we can do is we can flow, and then we can defensive magic, and then exhaust things from our discard to get strength, which is very cool. And now we are stonker. The request changes? I suppose so. Well, yeah, now it's play... Oh, I just realized, yeah, now it's play 3 chant cards. Huh. So it's like a quest that keeps changing. It's a little bizarre. We are going to get 3 strength. What the fuck? Hame wave? Oh, it's because I did the thing. Wait, I'm so confused. Deal 45 damage. Play 3 legendary magics. This is a legendary spell. Costs 1 less for each time you chant this turn. That's interesting. I guess this is 3 energy, 25 damage, which is not inherently powerful. Not inherently powerful, so you want to chant first. We're not going to have any mana if we chant through all of this. So we'll have 1 in hand. I know we don't have to think about this, but I was just, like, considering what we could actually do here. So if we cycle through all of this, we would have 1 in hand. And then we could potentially draw a chant card to get 1 energy and make this 2. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to have the evolutions represented while the deck... Yeah, in the deck and card reward screen. I agree. So if we were able to, you know... the understandability of this card at base is not super high, because we would assume that this does not change. Because it's Analyze 3 keyworded, and then do the thing, where you would assume that it's like Analyze 3, then Analyze 2 is the same thing, right? Oh! It says get reward and update the request. So I think what it means by update the request is that the condition changes. But again, that still doesn't, like, tell us what the next condition is, and it's, you know... I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like that the token defensive magic has the same name as the card, but a different effect. Yeah, I kind of pointed that out when we first said. I was like, it's weird that these both say defensive magic. Like, if the second one was like quick shield or something, or quick barrier, you know, where it's like almost the same thing, but it doesn't do the same effect. Or, like, it doesn't have the add defensive magic to your hand. right? I do also like that this makes a gameplay wise. I like that this makes a token and you could theoretically chant for 2 different reasons. So you could chant the first one to get energy and then chant the second one to get strength or something, which I think is kind of cool. So you could still have 3 energy to do other things. Also, man, these card names are really going. Spell that makes shaved ice. Shuffle 4 mana into your draw pile. 0 energy, make 4 mana to your draw pile. So the purpose would be to turn this into block. Spell to remove tough oil stains. Deal 12 damage to all enemies. If no one gets killed by this, deal 12 damage again. So this is 2 energy, deal 24 if it wasn't lethal. Doesn't seem worth the card disadvantage, I agree. Yeah, so this is kind of interesting. So this is 2 energy to deal 12 damage to everything. And then it's like stronger when it's stronger if you're against a boss, or it's stronger if you're in the late game. But at the early game, this is 2 energy to probably kill a whelp or whatever they're called, and then it's kind of bad. Slaver Deleter or Sentry Deleter. Yeah, the other condition on this, by the way, is that you have to have chanted this turn. So it is conditional on playing another card for legendary spells. So it is like you need to draw 2 cards in 1 turn. I don't know exactly how to evaluate that, but we'll probably find out. If you play 3 houses ever, if you play blue lines, you will be marrying Dimitri. I don't know about that. I don't know, would people want to watch me play through 3 houses? I was considering revisiting it, because I've already played 3 houses, but I never beat a maddening playthrough, so that's an idea for something we could do. Deal 8 damage if the enemy intends to attack, apply 1 weak, otherwise apply 1 vulnerable. This card is a common, so this is 8 damage with it applies the better status in both scenarios. What the fuck was that noise? Is there a room? Snake in your room? What? What noise? I did not hear a noise. Hello, handsome? Hi, Rue. Why flirty? Does it upgrade to 2 weak and 2 invuln? I don't know. Made a noise? Oh, did I? Oh. I didn't notice. There was a weird rattling noise. Ah. I apologize, I don't know why that happened. Yeah, so interestingly, it upgrades by 2 damage and then also upgrades the weak and the vulnerable. 2 weak and 2 vulnerable is significantly better than 1. I wonder if this card didn't need to upgrade damage. Because the important thing that I'm noticing about this card is that it always picks the best option, kind of. Where, like, it weakens things that are attacking you, or it makes things that you're, like, you apply vulnerable. Like, I don't know. I think the Eclipse made me kind of weird. Ah, I see. The animal noise catalog grows. It will join the happy goose sounds. Oh no. I've only upgraded either the damage or the debuffs, not both. Yeah, I think that's like a minor balance problem, but it's not like a huge deal. I think inherently the card design is a little weird. Like, I think the problem with it is that the opportunity cost of this card is that it's always good. You know what I mean? Seeing through Phantom does damage to the enemy because they're so impressed. Their excitement hurts them. Yeah, so I wonder if this is a case of this card being like, it does too many things for being a common. It's kind of like my initial look at it. I do kind of want to take this so that I can see if this is like kind of... I feel like I'm evaluating this card and it seems pretty strong, but it is also 2 energy. So I wonder about that. I guess it's also 2x scaling because it goes twice, so there's that. But I think we're going to take this card for the purposes of it being rather strong. Wow, we were on the first combat. Did not think about that. Okay. So we do have Chance, and we do have Flow, which is very good. So what we're going to actually do, I want a Defensive Magic instead. Because this is going to gain 6. If I chant twice, then it's going to be 10. And then I could flow the last energy. And then do we have another chant in our deck? We have Rapid Chant, so we can gain 1 strength. But we don't need to gain as much if we do this. Because they're going to attack so we can weaken first. What is the correct ordering for doing this? So... Because it's going to be weakened, so we don't have to block as much. So maybe I don't want to chant twice for block. We can just chant once for strength. Yeah. It's like I think we do that once. We pitch the other 2, and then we gain one strength. And then this does this. Nice. See, that's what I'm talking about, right? It's like, it's very interesting. Like, there is a system to engage with, which is what I was, like, really impressed with. And it's not apparently obvious to me what you're supposed to be doing with it. So you can kind of, like, mess around with it and figure stuff out. So we do have an energy in our graveyard. And we have enough block this turn already. So the question is, do I want to... Is cycling ever worth it? This could draw me the rest of my deck. And then I have 2 in my hand. Reshuffle 1 mana. I don't think we need to do that. We could want to do it to... Because we don't need the block. I think we just want to turn it into strength. And I think the question after that is if I pitch the rest of this energy. I guess it's kind of like... I can just let these go away. Oh, wait. Isn't there, Oh, I need to have all 3. It doesn't do it, like, 1. Okay. Okay, I did not know that. That's interesting. I thought it was you can choose 1 to 3. But that, I think, obviously isn't exactly how it works. Spots like that could become annoying in tight situations, since you might have to calculate the damage than when you would deal weakened. Which is kind of sucky for a system IMO. Right, yeah, because we want to do the strength later. Or like we want to gain we want to split between how much strength we're gaining and how much block we're doing, and we can't play the card that attacks first because we're getting strength. Yeah, I could kind of see that. I think that's more of something that happened because of... Yeah, so... Because you would probably run into similar spots, right? Where you kind of have to calculate how much block you want to make and how much strength you want to gain, depending on how much attack they're presenting. Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of like calculating for Wrath as well, right? I don't know. I think that that's okay, right? And also because, like, you don't need to do it perfectly. It was more that, like, I wanted to engage with the system and see, like, what I could do. Rather than it being, like... 75% and 200% is not quite the same. What do you mean 75%? I just don't know where the concern was coming from, like having one additional strength, or if we could afford to have one additional strength, which the only problem was whether we do that before or after. Is the comment that it is difficult to calculate weakened, or... Because I'm saying I don't think it has to do with the actual mana system itself. It has to do with, like, it's annoying to calculate weakened. Also, I'm really sorry, but I need to be back in, like, 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. By 2 seconds, I mean I might actually, like, take a minute. So, BRB in, like, 1 sec. Oh, I'm on the screen. Oh, right! That's because I put myself on the screen with the character body pillow from the capture card. That's funny. BRB. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, it's not difficult, just annoying. I'm going to go out on a whim and say that things that are difficult can be annoying and they're not mutually exclusive. But yeah, it's an issue with weakened, but also the fact that the mana system may require a difficult ordering that will, you know, choose between two optimal lines, like could run into some difficulty or annoyance. I do wonder about, like, I actually kind of wonder for stuff like this, right? Like for stuff like chant 1, because this is chant X. I wonder if chant plus the keyword could be combined, because I don't actually know. Because yeah, I wonder if there's a way to, like, calculate it for you and put it in the tooltip, but I think that's beyond what Slay the Spire is capable of doing. Like putting, like, if this is chant 1, if it just put chant 1 as the reminder text and was like, you know, exhaust 1 mana from your drop pile, gain 2 block, like, it calculates it for you so that you don't need to, like, do all the calculations. I wonder if that's possible. Right, so what were we doing? you can get a base deck card as a common. That's definitely a little weird. I think this usually is not the case, so I wonder about that. Deal 3 damage 3 times to all enemies. Exhaust. This is 9 AoE with exhaust. That's kind of interesting. I guess, yeah, it's 9 AoE, 3x scaling. I think it's interesting that this card has exhaust because of the fact that, like, you're kind of playing the mage that gains a bunch of strength with the, like, manipulation of mana first, and then you go, like, pew, 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 pew. Right? Kind of neat. Analyze 10. Oh, no. How are we supposed to know what the request is going to be for the rest of the things? Oh, no. Deal 6 damage to a random enemy and switch to defense mode. I just thought of something. Strange Spoon. Oh, yeah. Does that work with mana? Oh, there's the clothes dissolving scene, bruh. The other thing that happens in that scene is that there is, like, a very clear foot focus in that scene, which is neat. Ah, yes, defend mode. Yes, don't you know what defend mode does? Yeah, I think that's, you know, not the most understandable. I definitely think these request cards are not the most understandable. Do we chant for block here? I think so. Bonk, bonk. Full ahead. Gain 2 dexterity. At the end of your turn, lose 2 dexterity. Ah, this is, why is this called full ahead? But it gives you 2 temporary dexterity. That's interesting. Oh, I guess this synergizes with multi-blocks. Huh. I really like that the defensive side of the chant will essentially always be an option. Yeah, because you get 3 mana at the start of your turn. So I guess, at bare minimum, right, this always says, gain 6 block for 0. Basically always, which is neat. But then you can set up other things like do I want to get mana from my hand or strength from the discard? I guess it'd be the same for defensive magic. Like, these are always active. Or the block version of these are always active, where this is gain 10 for 1. This is 10 block, this is 6 block. Where I suppose the opportunity cost of that is that you don't have mana in your discard or in your hand to cast bigger spells. I don't think we've really seen how they implement casting bigger spells and stuff, but... Chant 3, add a blue moon weed into your hand. Retain, draw 2 cards. That's really interesting. Chant 3. So, I assume the block from chant is good with extra dexterity. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of for this card. This is really interesting. Because I think this is their defend draw card. So this says gain 6 block, draw 2 cards. But the draw has retain, and the reason the draw has retain is so that it can synergize with drawing mana later. So if you have a hand that opens mana and you actually need the energy to do something, you can have the retain draw for later. That's kind of cool. Deal 4 damage 5 times. You think Seraphim Feathers is a legendary spell? Oh wait, it doesn't deal it randomly. But yeah, okay. This seems two energy deal 20 conditional, but I guess because you can easily gain strength using mana and chant and stuff, that this is kind of not as... I guess you could also chant to get energy, and then this condition is active. Okay. I'm gonna try this card because it seems strong. Okay, do we want to gain strength? Kind of. And then we can block. This is 6, 11, and that should be enough. Give me strength. Strength, please. Also, being able to actually chant for energy and not lose out majorly on card advantage with the retain draw. Yeah. Because this is one of those cards where I feel like you would look at and be like, why are you allowed to retain draw 2 cards? That doesn't make a lot of sense. That seems like it is absurdly powerful. Which it probably is, but the context for why this exists is so that you can draw through mana, which I think is really cool. Conceptually, it is very cool. Okay, so there is a mana in our discard. We can't rapid chant for that. We don't need to... I guess we're chanting 3 to block. Gain 6. Do we want to do this? 15 to everything? Makes sense. Yeah, I suppose there's also the interesting half that the chant cards can just be dead because you have no mana. So that's like an interesting resource you have to manage. Even though you get 3 every turn. Okay. Paired posture. Draw a chant card. Huh? Draw a chant card? What? Seek? Hey, you don't get to choose, but it's like, that seems pretty good. I guess it's 1 energy to... One energy to trigger a legendary spell. So this is like... Oh, and the chant could also get you energy back. Because it's a chant card. So you could like... Prepared posture, chant, and then legendary spell. That seems pretty strong. Seems pretty good. Craft a legendary spell. What in the fuck does that mean? Would you like to... You will have more options. What in the ever-loving fuck do you mean? Craft a legendary spell. That's... What is up with cards called Grimoire being so busted? You shouldn't exceed a certain percentage of chance in your deck, so you don't overspend on mana. Kind of like having a certain percentage of plant cards, but for a very different reason. Probably choose 1 of 3. Yeah, and then you do that a number of times in a row, and then it gives you a card, which is bizarre. Deal X plus 4 damage to a random enemy X times. Add X mana into your hand. What the fuck? I don't think this should be a common card, right? No, I meant that you choose one like Nilry's. But then wouldn't this say... Why does this say you will have more options? I was like, choose from 5? I think this is like the Hearthstone things that make you like craft a card. Which seems very weird. That's very bizarre. I kind of want to take it to see If it's good, 1 of 4 like question card. See, the thing is, I want to take these because like they seem kind of good, but we're gonna try the weird rare card because it's weird and it's rare. This fucking gif. Okay. We haven't chanted at all this turn, and we're not going to chant. Let's try this. It costs 0. Shuffle 2 mana into your discard pile or chant 2. Wait, but it's a legendary spell with chant. I'm so confused. Shuffle 2 mana into your discard pile. Deal 4 damage to all enemies, gain 4 block. The Hermit, or Death. That's so bizarre. Okay. How many effects is it gonna get? Gain 2 dexterity. What? Apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies. Yep. It's not like you create a spell when you ask Siri for a spell, so just getting to choose one makes more sense to me. I agree. Interesting idea. I don't know how practical it is to balance this. But yeah, I guess it gets 3 effects. You choose a mana cost and it gets 3 effects. Cool. I don't need energy for anything. I don't need to block. I think we can just discard. So if I draw Flow, I have nothing to chant with. I want to draw Flow and I want to draw Flower Fields. And I want to draw Flow before I discard all my mana. So this needs to be Flow, this needs to be Flower Fields, or either of these, and then I don't want to draw more than 2 mana. Draw 1 mana, draw 2 mana. Nope. Okay. Do I discard here so that I can chant 3 with Produce Flowers? We already have a mana in our discard, so we can draw 1 more card. It is a strike. Suppose I need some block, huh? Three mana in my drop pile, which means I can gain block. Can Broku. What is this? Draw mana from draw pile and discard pile until your hand is full. Synchro, change into limit over synchro in the rest of combat. What? Deal 20 damage to a ramp. What? Oh, wait. Oh, what? What does this mean? Draw, okay, and then synchro. So does it, you draw a card, exhaust it, and then you change this into something else? Is that what this means? What? There's way too much uncertainty when you play the card IMO, which isn't the worst ever since it costs 0, but also the sheer amount of decision points seems excessive. Yeah, I feel like the mana itself isn't too bad, but I feel like the other cards that I'm playing are kind of like, huh? Pull all your mana from other zones, and from now on, mana deals 20 damage instead of drawing. Oh! Oh! That's so cool! That's really cool! So, like, it changes all of your... It changes them into deal 20 damage. And draw a card, I guess. No, it doesn't draw a card. Okay. Oh, and I guess by default it costs 3. How did we get this? What did we get this from again? I don't even remember. Yeah, the 3 mana makes more sense. The word from the quest. Oh, okay. That's why it costed 0. I was so confused. Yeah, if it's a 3 cost, you had to, like, wait a bunch of turns to put mana in your deck. I kind of get it. Give me... Oh, maybe I wanted to not gain strength. I have to have chanted. I will say that a lot of the card effects, I was like really excited for mana to be this sort of like thing you could kind of play around with, but I feel like all of the card effects are very confusing, which is unfortunate. Also, I think I fundamentally disagree with defensive magic and rapid chant being part of the common pool, but apply slow. The target loses 3 strength. See, this is a 3 mana uncommon, which kind of makes sense, I suppose, with being able to chant from hand. Also, it's easier to beat them up because they're restrained. That's kind of funny. Yeah, let's try out this one. Yeah, it's an anime girl mod. Of course, it's confusing. I don't know, I kind of want to try it out. Try out all these weird cards. Let's just go to... Give me the weed plus. I think there's a way to display the upgraded weed card here. You change the card to display if it's upgraded. It's a variable. What's this one do? Goes to 2. You will get more options. I feel like this is the one we should upgrade. This is probably broken. I feel like the Grimoire thing is probably broken, but... What would an upgraded quest even do? Yeah, I don't... That seems tough. Okay, we can gain block and then have draw for later. Let's do that. Especially the second tier of the rare one. Yeah, I don't... I feel like these quest ones, like these analyzed cards, are like very confusing. It's like analyze 3, and then it gives you the thing, and then it gives you the reward. Maybe it's just because of the, you know, it keeps changing the... Like the keyword... Oh, the keyword in the thing is hard to read. when it upgrades. Like, maybe that's what's confusing me, but also that, like, there's 3 stages and then the conditions are different each time. It's just, like, hard to understand. Like, it reminds me of quests from Hearthstone, but the quests in Hearthstone don't change to my best understanding. It's like you play a quest, and then you're like, okay, that determines what my... like, what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the game. So I would almost want these to have innate, you know, and then, like, have the same condition, but... I don't know. You know, some Slay the Spire mods are clearly Magic players making them. This one is absolutely a Hearthstone player who made it. Yeah, it kind of feels like they're a Hearthstone player. Like, from the craft spell and the, like, quest stuff. Yeah. And not showing what cards do and just saying the name. It's incredible. Okay, sorry, did I chant this turn? I don't think I did. Can I chant this turn? I can. And I'm gonna have 2 energy. So let's say, let's make it a major size. Alright. Wheel of Fortune. Add 1 out of 2 random common cards into your hand. They cost 0. Add 1? Oh, add 1 to 2, not 1.5. 1 or 2. Okay, well that's... Retain 1 card in your hand. Scry 4. Next turn, gain 2 energy. Deal 12 damage to all enemies. The enemy has 30 or less HP, set it to 0. Jesus. I guess this one is good. And then gain 1 intangible. Create all cards in your hand for the rest of combat. This card is very hard to want to play. It just said 1 when not zoomed in. Wonder why it shows 1, 2 when zoomed in. Oh, did it only say 1? Oh, interesting. I don't know why. Okay, we have crafted a spell. We will chant and gain block. Let's kill this thing. And gain an intangible. We got a 0-cost common card. Oh, we didn't have to chant again because we had intangible. Whoops. I have no way to chant to get extra energy. We can discard the mana so we don't draw next turn. Save it for later. Will we just defend? Discard the mana? So we're trying to get mana into our discard, which I don't think we're gonna have happen anytime soon. Nope. Definitely not bad. Can I make block here? Is it worth it? Let's make some block. Oh my god, there's so much mana and Daze in my deck. Oh, I guess I could have synchroed to get stuff. Okay. What? How you doing? I was looking for some VTubers to watch on YouTube because I unfortunately got a 7-day suspension on Twitch for something I didn't even do. What did they think you did? Out of curiosity. But also welcome. We are currently doing Design the Spire, where we play mods and try to evaluate the design of the mods. Unsolicited sexual advances. Well, hopefully, I was gonna say, you know, I have no way to confirm or deny that. I hope I don't have to worry about unsolicited sexual advances while you're in my chat, because that would certainly make me a little uncomfortable. But can't say I'm a huge fan of the opening handful of cantrips experience of mana. Then you'd fit right. I have never done that. Understandable. Yeah, it's like when you only open mana and then you're like, oh my god, which ones do I want to play? I'm not like that at all. Well, great. I'm sorry that that happened to you. 70 manas later. Can we get flower field? Nope. Okay. No, but chat here does it all the time to fuck off. No, you don't. Don't say that that's okay. 6 block, huh? Yeah, I will say that I was excited about the concept of mana and that you manipulate it, but it is actually... It's a little hard for me to make decisions. Flying magic. Gain 2 intangible. Does this actually just cost 0? Oh, I guess it's a legendary spell, so you have to chant first. 2 intangible for 0 seems kind of strong. It is a power, so it's kind of adjacent to buffer, but... I made edgy lewd jokes. It was an 18+ stream, and I made a joke about being in someone's mom's walls. Damn. Well, that's unfortunate, my friend. I'll be sure to let you know if I'm uncomfortable about you commenting on the mom's walls, or someone's mom's walls, before giving you a 7-day suspension. I don't know if I can give you a 7-day suspension. Can I? I'm kind of curious. I was gonna say, let's figure out if we can 7-day suspend somebody using poi, and then time you out for 7 days. I don't think I want to risk doing that, even though it would be really funny. It would be super funny. Like, extra giga funny. Let's discard. Play 3 Frieren mod legendary magics. Okay, there we go. You know, while I do deserve it, can't say I'm a huge fan of the prospect. I'm huge on the prospect. You do deserve to be banned for 7 days, Poi. I agree. Honestly, the amount of backseating and Unicorn Overlord, damn. It's probably years worth of banning. Lifetime ban. Add 2 mana to your hand. This turn synchro changes into Excel synchro. Draw 2 cards. Is 2 energy draw 4? With all of the synchros change? 2 mana draw 6? Interesting. Yeah, man, I mean that... it's just a joke. It definitely sounds like a joke to me. Isn't that just 2 mana deal 40? No, Excel Synchro is different than Overload Synchro. Excel Synchro is draw 2 cards. Which... This is kind of interesting to me that it changes them into Aura Excel. Exactly. This is an interesting card. Because what it does is it changes your other manas too. And what that lets you do is it lets you draw both a mana and another card, as opposed to just a regular thing. I suppose it also changes all of your synchros. For every 2 mana, discard pile, shuffle a mana to draw pile. What? What? When would you... What? That's so weird. What a weird thing. This is a weird card. What is the purpose of this card? Create a card in your hand for the rest of combat. Create all cards in your hand for the rest of combat? So this is deal damage armaments. It makes mana based on discard pile mana. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of when you would have an excess amount of mana in your discard pile that you haven't already used for strength. Or like, yeah. Hope there's not too many forms of synchro because that'd be a bit much. Yeah, I think changing what your mana does is a cool concept. But, yeah, I wonder about that. It's my type of humor. I'm very edgy, dark, and lewd with my humor, and she was okay with it. That's why I was being a lot more open with it. I usually am not. Yeah, so I get the sense that, like, you know, you mentioned you were a lurker, and that you don't normally say things, and then you said a joke that you thought was okay, that it seemed to be communicated to you that the joke was okay by the streamer, and then you got banned for it, which kind of sucks. I'm not sure what else to say on the matter, considering that you walked into my chat and then told me about it. I mean, damn, that sucks. It's just, not sure what else to say. You know? What was the joke? The joke was that he was in someone's mom's walls because he's a lurker, or she. I'm not sure. So you didn't get banned from her stream? Just suspended from Twitch for 7 days. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. It was, sorry, I don't know the difference between getting suspended for 7 days and whatever. But it's also not explicitly on topic, which is in the channel rules, which I don't normally enforce, but this one's certainly a tangent if I've ever seen one. Considering I need to use a lot of my brain power to try and figure out things about design and Slay the Spire, but I will definitely say the thing that I'm running into is that, like, it is actually pretty hard to deal with the granularity of mana. It's really cool. It's just hard for me to conceptualize how the full system works. But yeah, the generic defensive option being like you always get block is pretty good. The fact that the block option is always available means that you can, like, you can always be considering about blocking, like it's always safe to block. The thing that I'm struggling to understand or get a grasp on is, like, how do I put mana in my hand and how do I put mana in the discard? Except for, like, the card that literally, you know, discards your mana. It's cool that this game has a Frieren collab. I've never heard of it. Well, the thing is, this isn't a collab, it's a mod. So someone made this mod, and usually what we do when we look at mods in Slay the Spire is, like, you know, I have some degree of experience with game design, so I try to, like, apply design thinking to what is happening in the mod. I thought that it was very interesting that the sort of fantasy of being a mage, right, is kind of like manipulating mana and using that for, like, different purposes, right? So I thought the system design of trying to, like, have 3 mana which shuffles into your deck every turn and then kind of manipulating that is very interesting, but I'm now struggling to find out how I use mana in different places aside from gaining block. It's sort of hard for me to figure out. I guess we would want to pair this with a chant spell. I'm thinking about it. Have you watched Frieren? Yes, we watched Frieren in my memberships. We actually watched the entire thing together. I liked it a lot. I feel like Frieren as a show got me pretty good. Like, it understood me very well. Yeah, I think, Rance, I gave you the rundown on what I was I was thinking. But yeah, this mod also just has a lot of like kind of confusing cards, like figuring out how Sari's Grimoire is going to fit into like playing the game is just like very bizarre. Far no social relationships with your animes, take your pills. Is that not what the purpose of art is? Clear Mind has the added benefit of being able to discard 2 mana in a pinch, which is something, I guess. Like you generate 2 mana and then you discard it. Have I chanted this turn? I don't think I did. Which means we're just gonna shuffle a 3 energy thing. Add 5 mana to your hand. Shuffle 5 mana into your discard. Shuffle? Add 5? I'm so confused. Okay. Deal 7 damage 3 times. We're not gonna get to cast this card. Do I want to discard the mana? Yeah, I guess I will say that flow is also always active, which I think is cool. The fact that the chant cards in the base deck and also this card are always active when you draw it is very cool. Like, I'm glad that that works. I'm just trying to like figure out what the actual point of doing this is when I don't have another chant card. You know? I guess I'll try to draw a chant card, and then I don't. Okay. I'm surprised it hasn't gotten a Season 2 renew yet. Yeah, my friend was also saying, like, that they were waiting for, like, a confirmation that there's a Season 2. Which, like, they did the thing at the end, but also it didn't... It's, like, not actually a confirmation, right? My understanding is that the manga is still going, so... Like, they're still doing that. What does it mean by shuffling mana? Is mana a card? Yes. So mana is a card. This is a card. There's still plenty of material to adapt. Yeah, I'm wondering if they're just waiting so that they have enough material to adapt. Even if, like, they have some material now, like, I wonder if they still want to wait. So now we have retain, draw 4. Do I have block in my deck? We do. Nice! And we have mana, because of course we do. Block, please. Oh, I guess the other thing to note is that, like, because the chants in the base deck are all technically defensive until they're not defensive, right? They're all by default defensive. So this is by default 0 energy, 6 block. This is by default 1 energy, 10 block. By default. There's something to be said about playing a slow character and then also doing that. However, I guess there's something like... The fact that this character would be slower is by virtue of the fact that you want to set up a chant that gets you strength, but this takes all the mana out of your deck. So I wonder about that. The only manga you read right now is One Piece. Unfortunately, I'm not the hugest fan of One Piece. That is... I personally was not huge on the art style. Which... I know that to all of my friends who like One Piece, they're like, how dare you? And I'm like, listen, man. I just don't vibe with it. I'm sorry. What is this? Whenever you synchro mana this turn, the enemy loses HP. It's kind of neat. I love the art. I mean, hey, whatever Whatever goats your float. Okay, so the deck loads you up with these mana tokens and you use those to do stuff. That is correct, Fused. Sorry I didn't explain it, but yeah, the Holy Emblem shuffles 3 mana into your draw pile every turn, and then you can kind of manipulate it from there. So Poi already made the observation that, you know, basically all of the chant cards by default have the block option available to them. So if you chant from deck, you get block. If you chant from hand, you get energy. And then if you chant from discard, you get strength. So I think that these options are really cool because chanting from hand inherently comes with the disadvantage of, like, the opportunity cost of discarding mana from your hand. And also you can play mana to draw a card, by the way, for free. It's considered a magic card. So I think the modes are interesting because the slowest one is your win condition. Like the one where you have to discard it and you kind of have to set it up and get strength and stuff is the slowest, and you have to like set it up. And by default, the option which gives you more time, which is chanting from deck, is always active because you shuffle into your deck. So like that seems really cool. I've been having a tough time trying to figure out what I'm actually doing with it, but it is cool. I think conceptually it's cool. Also, yes, mage style choke. Man, there sure was a choking scene with Frieren choking some guy. You know what I mean? 1 energy, draw 3. See, I think this card is I mean, this is what's it called? Not divination. Skim. Oh, it goes to 0. Very interesting. The thing that I find interesting. Wait, 0 energy, draw 3. 0 energy, draw 3. Look, it's the thing. 0 energy, draw. Oh, it's draw 3 mana. It's not. Oh, I thought it put the mana in your hand. This mana stuff seems kind of bricky. The thing is that it's not, because you can always use mana to draw a card and exhaust it. So there was the other observation that the mana, if you open a bunch of mana in your hand and it's all cantrips, it's kind of annoying to need to like play through all of the cantrips in your hand. Like that's kind of just annoying. But yeah. Okay, what is sorry, I'm trying to figure out what we were saying about the mod. So sorry, I didn't understand that this card actually says draw 3 mana. This is not draw 3. I thought this was draw 3 for free. It's not. But it's an interesting card. So you could put 3 mana in your hand and then use it to generate energy, or you could do it and then discard it immediately, which is kind of cool. All the mana adders also draw cards. No. Mana as a card has Synchro on it, and Synchro's default effect is draw 1 card, exhaust. So you can always choose to discard mana from your hand and draw a card. Which is cool because it means that adding mana to your deck through this Holy Emblem never changes your deck size unless you want to use it to discard it for strength and stuff like that. So, oh, what is this? I'm going to ignore that. Maybe I'll rest because I'm dying. I really don't like this card because it's so complicated. Because I need to do this every time. So we do have a chant in our hand. We can chant and then put the things back in our thing. Deal 8 to all, deal 10. Maybe this. And then gain dexterity. That seems really strong. The gain dexterity part of this is really strong. I mean, this is just like such a bizarre random card. It's just so random. Though it is effectively like an X spell. Because you can choose what the mana cost is, and then... Okay, we have chanted 3. And then I'm gonna put energy back into my thing. And then I'm going to... cry deeply. I got an ad in the middle of that explanation. Oh, which one? The draw card? Sorry. What part did you miss? The ads hit at weird times. Think worst was at work and I got a horny app game ad. Yo! Wait, hold on a second. Are you telling me that YouTube is serving horny app games to my viewers? That's so fucking giga chat. I love that. God, I love that so much. You're being targeted at you have targeted ads, chat. How do you feel? How do you feel, chat? That's so funny. That's actually so funny to me. Okay. Do we want to draw 3 cards? Oh, we can defensive magic and then... Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, so let's defensive magic and gain strength. And we'll do it again and we'll gain strength. Nice! We're doing it! We're doing the thing! We're getting strong. We're getting strong and then killing them. Oh shit. Chant. Do damage. I don't bonk. Oh, did I not open the... Did I not open the chatbot? I remember why I didn't open the chatbot. It's because Streamlabs had an update. That's why. Excuse me? Yo. Hey, yo. Remove all block from the enemy. Give it 3 vulnerable and weak. If there's a potion that I know that I want. if there's a potion that I know that I wanted. This has got to be the potion. There's one potion that guys want and it's disgusting. Yeah, is this a rare? Gotta be a rare, right? Can I not check the type of potion it is? Feels like my wealthy status as a premium member shields me from the trials of the common man. It's sparkling, so I think it's rare? Oh, I don't know. I thought you could check the thing. Backflow. Draw 4 mana from your discard pile. Why would I ever want to do that? It's so hard to discard mana. Why would I ever want to put it back in my hand? You can in the compendium. Ah, I see. Aha. I've been getting recommended chess synth videos. They are very funny to me. Aha. No one would ever make this very silly move. Aha. The horsey puts me in check and I lose the challenge. I've been hesitant to take another defensive magic because I feel like I shouldn't be taking cards that should only be in the base deck. I guess I could like save and quit. Invalidate my run. Sorry, we've been moving at this one quite slow because I think the understandability is sort of hard. So I apologize for that. It is an uncommon potion. Oh, is it not even character specific? It's just a generic one? Definitely seems kind of strong for a generic potion. Right? 3 weak, 3 vulnerable? It's rather strong, no? I guess the context of, like, removing all block isn't, like, super apparent. But 3v3 vulnerable seems kind of good. I don't want to chant. Okay, we do have one more chant in our deck. So we can block, and then we can draw these, and then discard them. We only have one chant, though. That's really too bad. So I want to draw the field of flowers, which I suppose I can just keep doing this, and then... Give me that field. Hey! I enjoy that very much. Just hoping that it's hoping that the card I need is just the next card on top of my deck. Ah, there we go. Sorry, so it didn't... The cost was 0 when we got this, and I tried to check it. But it just said 0, so I assumed that this was 0. So this is a little bit better, probably. We also keep running into these cards. I wonder if there's like a weird card distribution with the commons. I don't know. Gaining intangible is probably very good. What does upgrade to? Gain 3 intangible. That's extremely good. Honestly, probably still a little too good. I don't know. Even if it's conditional, it seems kind of good. I don't know how good the draw 4 mana from discard card is. It is cool that the numbers on it is just higher than the draw mana from draw pile card. Yeah, I don't know what the purpose of that is. Also, yeah, I guess we're gonna slow this guy. It's really funny. Can we do this? We're gonna dissolve all of the clothes on the Hexaghost. Very funny. We haven't chanted this turn, and I don't think we're going to. We could pull out of Swamp and then draw a chant card, so I guess that kind of makes sense. So we're gonna have 1 or 2 mana. Or 0. Because we could pull and then go Flying Magic. Probably don't want to do that. Add 3 mana to your hand. Chant 3. It is so funny to me that the legendary spell can come with chant. Maybe gain block. The gain dexterity just seems like very, very strong, and I don't know how I feel about it. Let's chant for strength, and then gain dexterity. Wait, what? Didn't I chant? I chanted, right? This is a chant. Can I chant again? Give me strength. No, it has chant 3. No, I'm so dumb. No. That's so funny. No, I'm boosted. Shit. That's really funny, honestly. Okay, well, at least we can chant 3 now. Now what am I doing? Dealing 12 damage? Do I want to block? The exact distribution of 2/2/2 is so perfect, too. Okay, give me something else. Give me something else to work with here. Oh, do I want to make energy? Oh, that's so interesting. You can chant to make energy and then draw cards. That's fascinating. That's so interesting. Wait, why did this go up by 3? I don't think that's how that's supposed to work. Flying magic? We don't need flying magic yet. We also, I guess we don't have, I don't know if I want to do this. Sorry, this mod is kind of like mind-breaking me, you know? It's too complicated. But it's really cool. Like, oh, sorry. You were like, I'm kind of upset there's no Mimic boss. So, like, seriously, how could they not include a Mimic? It was voted above Stark in popularity contest because it's such a deep and memorable character. You don't think it went up by 3, you just synchroned on earlier turns? Oh, maybe I did. Makes sense to me. Okay, so we can still draw chant cards. There's still chant cards on our deck, so we're gonna discard 3 and then synchro. Alrighty. Let's gain strength. And we chanted. So we can chant 3 for strength, or we can chant 3 for... Yeah, let's chant 3 for strength. We can chant again for block. Let's do some damage. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like, in general, if you don't need to play the mana, or you don't need to change... If you don't need to change the cards in your hand, you can just, like, afford to discard the mana to potentially get strength later. So maybe that's kind of, like, too easy of a decision, sort of. I definitely feel like the mode that I'm not really using is chanting to make energy, or to make mana. Chant for strength. Oh no, the distribution's off again. Fuck me. Huh. Yeah, so I guess there's nothing to do, huh? Let's just clear that for strength. Do some damage. A smaller chance seem better for making mana. That makes sense. Yeah, like the chant 3s are sort of like either block or get strength, whereas the tiny like 1 chants are better for like using a mana in your hand or like going neutral on like a 1-cost card. Time concept of elf. Bro, ain't no way. Pajama form? Dog, what are you... God, how... Am I allowed to show this on YouTube? Like, Jesus. Come on, man. Going neutral, especially so you can cast big legendary spells? Yeah, so you lead on a 1-mana chant so that you can still be on 3 and then cast a 3. Oh, wait, that's so interesting. We had the Flamahamaha, or whatever, like the laser beam, which I'm just realizing now, if you chant with mana from your hand with a 1-cost spell, you go neutral, and then that card costs 3, which means you can cast it. That's really interesting. Not to mention, obviously, you could chant more, but it's neat that you have, like, access to a 1-mana chant that then, you know, makes the thing easier. Send your everything 2 turns into the future. What does that mean? What the... what the fuck does this card mean? What does this card mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Literal Hearthstone card. Yeah, I feel like some of these cards are a little extra. The base concept is so cool, but I feel like a lot of the cards are very complicated. Also, what the fuck, man? Are you just gonna put Frieren's feet in my video? At the end of your turn, exhaust all mana and deal damage equal to 3 times the amount of exhaust to all enemies. 3 times, so each mana in your hand becomes deal 3 AoE. Just add cats TBH, much more balanced mechanic. What is the bonk for? What do you mean? There's literally... I'm getting an image here that is literal foot focus. What do you want? What do you want from me? They knew what they were doing. Animator knew what they were doing with this. Fuck off. Wait, are these cards playing into the Frieren experience? Role-playing her inability to effectively... That's so good! That's so good! Oh my god. Yes, the fact that all of these spells are really complicated and hard to understand is actually just a meta commentary on how Frieren has difficulty explaining herself. Why does it have damage in parentheses? Does it stack over time? I believe this is the shorthand for Blizzard. So it'll tell you, it's going to calculate how much damage you deal at the end of your turn. I think. But that's weird. Why would it put it on this? At the end of your turn, exhaust all... Why would they put it on the card? That seems odd that you would put this on the card. Huh. Also, I didn't deserve either of those bonks. Should be bonking the animator. This card's really cool. I kind of just want to take this card. It's really fucking cool. Doesn't matter. Card seems bad. Yeah, it gives you Flag Bearer's plant ability. That's what it does. Yeah, let's go this way. I think I'm gonna call this one early, honestly. I don't know if I can play through the entire thing. Also because people keep bonking me, stop that. It's not my fault. It's not my fault that the image was literally an image of Frieren's feet in my face. What did you want me to say? I don't know. I literally don't know what you wanted me to say. Oh, wait, we have flow into chant 3. That's so strong. Why? Why are you doing this? Stop. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's really not my fault. The fuck is this? Is this spoilers? Oh, that is. Okay, chant 3. Bonk. Oh, we got flow again. No, we can't do anything. Hey, we got backflow, which we also can't do anything with. Wow. Cool. Here's the thing, I'm on the bus and forgot my headphones, so I can't hear you, but knowing Flari's probably being hella horny. What the fuck is this? What the fuck do you... What? You can't even hear me and you're assuming. You're assuming that I'm being a bad person. How dare you? Okay, I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move. And then we're gonna restraint magic. That was probably not very good. But that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Excel Synchro. This is free? Do we even want to do that? You're gonna draw 2 cards. That's one. Oh, that's why it said 1 or 2 when you zoomed in, because on the add common card thing, it adds 2 cards when you have a large enough size. Oh, I see. I was also in the past when you were looking at the pajama card, so not sure if the bonks were warranted. God damn it. Just to admit you right, he's horny as fuck. Listen. I can only be so down bad. I'm not that down bad, okay? I'm only a little down bad. Okay, let's chant. Chant. Keep telling yourself that. Maybe I will. Maybe I will keep telling myself that, huh? What do you want from me? Why are you bullying me? Oh. Flow doesn't do anything here, huh? Yeah, draw 2. Draw 2. Can I draw from the discard, or is it only from... Ugh. Give me strength. Oh, it's a legendary spell, so I have to chant first. And then I don't have any mana in my deck. That's awkward. How do I produce more mana before he runs away? I guess I could just do this. Retain. Whenever you synchro mana this turn, gain 1 strength. Oh, that's kind of neat. So you wait until you have mana in your hand, and then you play this, and then you effectively get the bottom half of chanting while still drawing cards. Sure, let's just keep picking cards. Why not? Bonk. Play all of the cards. All of them. We have no more cards to play. Oops. I guess this means I want to draw the mana to get the strength, so flow is not necessary here. I wonder how Snecko Oil interacts with the cost on mana cards. That's not what I meant to do. Final chant. Chant all mana wherever they are. What the hell? Huh? What? Huh? That's really cool, but also what the fuck does that do? Gains block and strength and mana. Sure. Let's just keep picking cards, why not? Oh, if we make it a 3 cost, it might become 0 cost. It doesn't gain mana, it chants mana. Yeah. But you can chant the mana in your hand, which gains you mana, is what I'm saying. So you can get block and get mana and get strength, depending on where everything is. Because it does all of them. Which is kind of neat. I don't know if it's good. Sorry, that's what I meant. Energy. Hey, that's only the first time I messed that up. It costs 0. I guess I want the strength for my discard, but I also don't want to die, but it's the only one I can do. Rapid chat doesn't work. Oh, now it does. So that I can cast my 3-cost strike card. Let's go. I'm just dying. Please stop dying. Ooh, this is kind of cool. And I can do this. It's kind of neat. That was like a cool thing that I did. Huh. Now they're all Excel synchros. I guess there's no purpose in doing this because everything costs energy. Do I have any... I still have Rapid Chant, so I can draw... And then that doesn't do anything because I have nothing in my hand. Oh, man. Let's turn them into the destructive ones. Yes. But that's cool. Until now, I was somewhat irked by the fact that mana didn't have a cost of 0. Which, sure, it looks better, but is inconsistent with the look of cards. But it's in case you get confused, in addition to for being aesthetic, or aesthetic reasons. Yeah, so I was wondering about that, right? Where I was like, oh, what happens to the mana when you get confused? But nothing happens to it because... Also, why do I have 4 intangible? Did I flying magic and do the other thing? I don't know. Funny exhaust pile is funny. Yes, very lethal. Well, that's just silly, isn't it? 3 cost, very silly card, and it also has ethereal. Well, is this the second Frieren chokes you card? Huh. Is that free from the show Frieren? What? Deal 20 damage. Synchro changed into Excel Synchro. What would be the purpose of that? So you deal damage and then you want to draw more cards in the same turn? but it doesn't produce any material? I'm so confused. This is very, very odd card. Is this Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah, you're gonna synchro Shokan. Okay. You could just have mana in your hand. Yeah, which you want to cycle off for like 2 more cards so you can keep playing. I guess it turned them all into Excel Synchro for the rest of the turn. So you could also have a rapid chant and then like use your current mana to draw more mana. I guess Excel Synchro really helps you like draw your mana that's currently in deck. Because whenever you draw twice, you could potentially go +1 on mana. Okay, I'm going to transform a spell that breaks the barrier and Grimoire, simply because... What is this memery? What is this memery? I grimoired into a grimoire, guys. That's crazy. I haven't seen that in... I've never seen that in the history of playing Slay the Spire. Makes getting energy out of it easier. Yeah. So it's quite the strong transform. I'm almost glad that I'm probably going to lose this fight because... Oh, they made another form card. Whenever you synchro a mana, gain 2 block. Spell for finding lost accessories. Innate, ethereal, legendary spell. At the end of combat, obtain a random relic. Well, that's probably not fair. Meta progression? I mean, I know it's 4 energy, but like, really? I don't know. At the start of your turn, if you don't have mana concealment in your hand, add it to your hand. Shuffle all mana in your hand and draw pile into your discard pile. Oh, that's kind of cool. Huh. So you could take all of your mana, put it in the discard pile, and gain a bunch of strength? That's really interesting. And they don't just give you mana concealment as a card itself, so you can always have the thing to it. Innate Ethereal with a casting restriction is interesting, since you likely won't be able to use chance to gain energy on turn 1. I suppose so. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you would need a way to generate mana in your hand, then chant the mana away to get energy, and then use this. This card seems like a weird Rube Goldberg machine for an effect that's probably too strong on a card. Like, you know what I mean? I think this seems like the classic, like, okay, we're gonna make this cost really, 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 really high, and therefore we're gonna make the effect really, really, really good. But, like, it's outside of the range of usability and outside of the range of balance. Like, on both ends of the spectrum. So it's just like a weird card. Seems very good when upgraded though. Then you just need to draw its Defensive Magic and an Energy Relic. Wow. This is very difficult. We need to chant for defense. It's quite good. Ah, I have been entangled. How could they? How dare they? And I still have the Grimoire card. I don't have any chance in my hand. Suppose we try to draw a chant? There's a chant. Oh, I just realized that it glows yellow when you've chanted, I think. I think that's what the purpose of that is. Which is neat. Oh, I'm entangled! I can't play attacks! But this is a magic, it's not an attack! That's funny. Dang. Sorry, did I know what this does? Oh, it's a power. Yeah, I wish I... It's like deal damage randomly, right? Yeah, deal 20 damage to a random enemy, okay. Turns into the attack frame, so does that mean that synchroning mana usually counts as a skill? Yeah, I wonder about that. I don't know. We'll check that next time. I also find it weird that this doesn't exhaust. I guess it's so that you can draw your mana every time. I suppose. The defensive magic token doesn't exhaust. You mean like it's not ethereal? Yeah. That's certainly a little weird. Choose 2 cards in your hand and exhaust them, then add 2 mana to your hand. Neat. Okay. We've been going for a little while. I know that we've tangented quite a few times this stream. I think I'm gonna stop here. Like, I think we've seen most of what this mod does, if that makes sense. Like, I don't feel like I need to keep playing. So that I can just say closing thoughts, because I think we've observed most of what was kind of on our mind, or at least on my mind when I was playing. So, this mod, I think, is very cool in the fact that it attempted to have a system-based mechanic that you could manipulate. It was very interesting. I think there were good observations about, the UX, general UX of having mana cards, where it's it's a little hard to calculate. So maybe having some way to help players calculate would be useful. Also, that it's cool that the block half of the mana cards are always available, because you shuffle 3 at the start of your turn. I think I would have been interested in seeing more ways to manipulate mana, because I don't know if there was there were some for sure, flow existed for sure, or the ones that add mana to your hand. I would have wanted to see that played around with a little bit more. Chant is cool in such that it can be used with mana in different ways, as a main mechanic, but it's just a little hard to use. It's also a little bogged down by the fact that it felt like the cards were Oh, I can see all the cards now. Oh, I can't see all the cards now. That some of the cards are like just a little, like, this is hard to understand. You know what I mean? Like, this is also a very weird card. So like, I feel like the main mechanic is bogged down by like, a lot of these cards are just very weird. Like, I don't know when you'd ever actually play this card. It's very expensive. Right? You know, like, cards like this are really cool, where you go like, oh, draw a chant card? Doesn't that seem kind of strong? But then you go like, oh, but like, you draw a chant card so that you can enable your legendary spells. Like, the chant cards are good, or can be good. Like, this is a really good chant card. So being able to pseudo-tutor for that card, knowing that it's the only card in your deck, I guess this is more like Secret Weapon, except it's like Secret Weapon, Secret Skill, all of those things, except as a, you know, I almost wonder if this could have been an uncommon that costed 0 but exhausted. Something like that. I don't know. Like, I'm not confident that that's, like, the best place for this card to be. I just felt like a lot of the cards are either a little complicated or it's hard to, you know, like this one, it's a little hard to tell. Like, would you really want to lead on Air Slash to get Excel Synchros? And then, I guess, like, kind of. This one seemed, like, pretty, like, more apparent to me, because I liked going, like, Clear Mind, like, play one of the Synchros, potentially draw another Synchro, use the mana that's left in my hand to convert into energy, and then your Excel Synchros that hopefully you, like, have more of them, you can draw you into more gas, or this is just 2 energy, draw 4, and then you kind of go from there. We talked about how you can use the mana in hand to draw more mana from your deck, just in general, even without the other lines that I was talking about, so, yeah. Okay. Sorry, which seems like an odd choice considering you can be unable to use it if you're out of mana since it's a chant. Oh yeah, that was an interesting observation for this. So, because this doesn't have ethereal, and you, like, potentially you can't chant if you use your chants elsewhere, that, like, you would almost want this to just exhaust itself, or, like, ethereal at end of turn. Unless you want it to be a 0-cost token in your deck, which, like, feels a little weird. You know, I'm not sure I fully understand the utility of cards like this. Like, mana concealment and then backflow. Like, maybe that's a thing. I thought the context for this was sort of interesting, because it synergizes well with the block you gain off of chanting. I don't know if that works, actually, now that I think about it, because chanting is from an effect. So I don't even know if this works, but yeah. Definitely felt more fleshed out and easy to understand, though maybe not quite as much to fully utilize than many of the other overlaid systems we've seen in Design the Spire, the base system at least. Yeah, exactly, where it's like, I felt like the base system had a lot of potential and was very cool. Also, it's very natural to me, or it felt very natural to me, to, like, have legendary spells, because the legendary spells would signal to you that, like, if you think about it this way, the legendary spell text is a condition, but this is also kind of a signal to tell the player what to do, right? Where it's like, this card synergizes with getting more strength, so consider chanting before using the spell, right? In the same way that, like, cards that are all goblins signal to players that you use them together, like if there's Goblin Tribal. So, you know, the flow of using a chant first, then doing this, felt natural and made a lot of sense, and I was kind of about it. I never felt like legendary spells sort of hosed me, except when I, like, you know, didn't have a chant, but that seems unlikely when they're good cards that you kind of want to play. I don't know if that made sense, but anyways, the point is that this is an on-off condition. Usually you're scared with on-off conditions that, like, you'll draw, like, payoff enablers, right? That you'll draw the payoff with no enabler and then the card is simply useless. But there's just, like, so much card manipulation with mana that, like, I find it hard to believe that you would run into difficulty casting a legendary spell. Like, consistently have difficulty with it. The analyze cards were basically impossible to understand. I really didn't like these. The card balance is also a little all over the place. Yeah, for sure. Like, this card seems unplayable. Whereas, like, this card just seems weird. Like, why does this exist? You know? As you were saying, it's like, just draw defensive magic with an energy relic and you're, like, off to the races. Or just, like, rapid chanting with an energy relic. Like, you know what I mean? So, this card seems bizarre. So, I don't know. I liked the core gameplay and the nod to trying to make a system that works well. Because I felt like there's a lot of potential there. Also, like, for example, like, Chant 3 is just always active. Because you shuffle 3 things. Oh, there was also the unfortunate problem that if you relic swap, that's not really playable. Like, I would almost want to just bake it into the character, or give them a second relic that just, like, makes the thing work. Were there many commons you didn't see, or were there just not many commons? I don't know, because all of the cards are locked. Also, you know, card name's a little hard to understand. Also, yeah, I guess there's, like, spell that breaks barriers, or, like, spell that, you know, does things. I almost wish that spell that does X, like, meant something, because it's kind of like a neat shorthand to signal, like that it's a legendary spell or something, for example, but I don't think that's... Yeah, I don't know. You can still see rarity, though. Oh, do you just, like, want a common count? Oh, yeah, also, flow... Like, Rapid Chant and Defensive Magic should probably not show up in the card pool. You need to code these as, like, base deck cards. Unless you wanted that to happen, but that's very abnormal. Usually base deck cards are more powerful or niche, so that to make up for the fact that they're not... You can't find them elsewhere. They're supposed to, like, be the core of the character, right? Like, Retrace is the core of Flagbearer. And you should, you know, yeah. Oh, since you mentioned you saw a lot of the same commons, well, let's count. These are in the common pool, so I'm going to count them. 1, 2, 3. Or I don't know if flow is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I don't know if 21 is too far off. Let's count Flagbearer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, they actually have more commons than I do. They have 21. Which, to be fair, I think 2 of those were cards that probably shouldn't be in the pool, so I guess 19. 19 commons is actually normal. Just remove these from the common pool, which should be the case anyways, because these are base deck cards. And also, if flow is supposed to be a base deck card and we just didn't see it show up, like, if this is actually in the common pool, 21 minus 3 would be 18, and that's correct. It's just weird that you saw a lot of the same commons. Yeah. So, yeah, very cool mod. Very cool, like, system. The system seemed solid, and I think, like, it outlined the core gameplay in the sense how the identity of the core gameplay, where, like, you're a mage, you want to manipulate mana. What are the different things you can do with mana? Why are you doing those different things with mana? It's like, well, at the start, you want to make blocks so that you have more time. Once you've given yourself more time, you can maybe, like, generate additional mana cards in your hand, discard them, like, flow the mana out of your deck so that you can get strength, and then you use the strength for multi-hit cards like this, which you use to attack and do a bunch of damage, or potentially you can use the mana in your hand to either extend your turn or play big cards that do like cool things like this, like Restraint Magic. It would be probably pretty hard to play this off the rip with no additional mana. So I think you're almost expected to chant to generate mana so that it's easier to play this card. I don't envy trying to figure out how to balance the energy curve when you're considering mana, because 3 seems like a lot, and similar to the legendary spell thing, I almost wonder about expensive cards sort of having more of a feast-famine effect than legendary spells. Because you can probably legendary spell and chant like for block from your deck and then cast this, whereas chanting specifically for mana from your hand, like mana into energy from your hand, almost seems more difficult as like a payoff to very expensive cards. So I wonder about that. Balance certainly a little weird, like ambiguous effects that I'm not sure I fully understand. This card is really cool, but also like so weird. Such a weird card. I don't know if it's like okay for you to just give people silver bullet legendary spells. Maybe it is okay, I don't know. It's a very bizarre card. So yeah. Cool, very cool. I'm glad I played this, but I don't think I would be able to make it to the end of a run with it. It's a little too confusing. So that's going to be it for today. Next stream is going to be Entropy Effect on Wednesday. We're going to check it out again because they changed a bunch of stuff. We might actually be able to do Entropy 100, I don't know. Because now you don't need to sacrifice your what are they called? Your effects. You don't have to sacrifice your effects from your EVA types. So maybe we'll have an easier time with that. Brain would be fried before you make it to Act 4. Seriously, it would. I know we had like some tangents this stream. We had multiple tangents. Like with the person who... I don't want to roast them too much. It sounded like they had a bit of a day. But it was definitely... Like, the thing I noticed was... I feel so bad turning into this guy. Maybe I shouldn't, but... It's like... Did you watch Frieren? It's like, yes, I did. Frieren was really good. I liked it a lot. And then it's like... Yeah, but I really like One Piece, and now I'm going to talk a lot about One Piece. And I'm like, I didn't bring the conversation there. Which, I apologize to that person, but... That certainly felt like the best way to try and steer a conversation that I've ever seen in my life. Complicated decisions, and a whole lot of them as well. Yeah, there was complicated decisions, but this is the interesting thing that I like a lot about this mod, is that when you have a really good system that has good decision making in it, if your cards were simpler, this would be a very successful mod, in my opinion. Because you have this system that you can manipulate and make a lot of cool decisions with, just make the cards easier to understand. Like, simple effects that manipulate the system, as opposed to complicated effects, I think would really make this mod work a lot better. Because then you're not grappling with, like, what does this 2 cost send everything 2 turns in the future card do? Like, I don't need that. I just want a way to interact with the system that you've given me, you know what I mean? Whoa, Flar, have you never seen One Piece? And then Fuse starts talking about One Piece for the next, like, 10 chat messages. I feel really... I'm not trying to tear into that guy too hard. But I felt like it was an inappropriate method of conversation steering that I was not comfortable with. So I simply stopped responding. So basically... Yeah, I always feel bad. I kind of wonder... Because I feel like it happens a lot sometimes, and I sort of wonder if my role as a streamer is to facilitate those conversations better, and that I should be able to facilitate those better. But we went onto the stream with a goal, which was to analyze the mod. I felt like these... I really want these streams to be more focused than other ones. which I know, like, is not always going to be the case, but I feel like on these ones I want to stay a lot more on track than normal, despite the fact that I was tangenting still a little myself. It's supposed to be, but it's okay. Yeah, cut quests, cut some of the weirdo cards, and make all the cards you make clear what they are. Just do that and the mod would be improved. Yeah, I can't... I hope you are being genuine when you say that, but, like, for sure, I legitimately think either... Maybe don't even cut quests, but I think, like, make quests easier to understand and more simple. So, like, maybe the quest progression is always the same for each of them, and something like that. I felt like quests were really hard to understand. Like, for real, for real. And also, like, the payoffs may be too strong. I don't know if that's just because, like, Break the Barrier is a rare. But, like, it seemed like you were trying to make a payoff for Synchro, but also make a payoff for chanting, and make a payoff for, like, these actions you're going to be taking anyways, but in, like, a weird, you know, weird progression of events. So, yeah. Really liked it. Could probably use better individual card design. And that's going to be it. So, for those of you who are still here, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. It was fine. And I appreciate your support, as always, and I'll see you next time. So, bye-bye. Goodbye, everybody. Bye. Bye-bye.